Okay, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening to want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. This is the Examiner. I kind of extremely running late here, but too much is involved. So please bear with us. I am Alfonso Z, and so what up like Republic Radio and Lpr-Tv. No matter how late we are, we will always try to make that provision as you rely on us and we rely on you to have these national conversations. So I want to welcome you, and hopefully you are doing great this weekend. Mr. Sly, good to have you here. Christian Taboy, man, Sia Vinton right here. Good evening, Elijah Johnson. Good to have you here. Going Dole, Mr. Wises, Horace Johnson, and Francis, and all of you great folks. We want to welcome you this evening right here on the Diaspora to Informative News Outlet. You know, when the week comes to an end and we are in the process of getting to a new week, too much a heartbeat to the nerves or popping up just to know what's going to be happening in the coming week. Well, should we live such a sort of situation? You have no idea what's going to come, sort of bizarre stories, unusual happenings in politics, social life, but the politics aspect has managed to take control of our day-to-day activities, and it compels us to just keep watch, searching both electronic and print media to see what is happening. So why should we be in such a form? Well, it's hard to say. That's a situation we find ourselves. Politics seems to be the dominant conversations in our today's life that affects our living. So it is important that we have this sort of conversation. And so what is so much interesting too is the level of our temperament to process these information. Even people that we agree with yesterday, when they take a different side or when they begin to see things differently, or when they are speaking their open minds of how society, how their government, how institutions, and or how things are being done, it seems to be put in a different category and insult. And that is quite just amazing to see when people are watching and people talking, and they tend not to, whether it's on purpose or for political purposes, and not to even pay attention to hear what this person is saying. But part of that is we as a people, as a nation, in this sort of individual way of thinking. It is not in my column. I'm not, it's not working. So let me do a quick adjustment here. Something here. These people every day they're changing stuff, so it's kind of a little bit different here. But maybe I'll just leave it as it is. You know, this color looks off, so I wanted to make a change. Okay, just bear with me here a little bit. Okay, here we go. So they have made a lot of colors. Can do it. Let me see. Let me give it this color or this color, something like this. A little bit much better. Or I can go to blue. All right, let's do it this way here. Thank you so much for being patient. Now, how do I get back to where I came from? Oh, okay, here we go. It's kind of different, Keta. Good to have you here. So I will, in tonight's editions of the Examiner, I will try to open the line here, and for conversation purposes, if you call, and I want you to call, you know, because we can keep having this sort of things and say it is not our business. It is our business. It is our business. Regardless which side you find yourself, it's okay. You know, people will slam you, people will bat you when you make your call and say, "Oh, you're just talking about well, That's how you feel. That's your country. So it's important. Oh, yeah. Keto, I'm so sorry. Yeah. You know, the cold season now too. I didn't even send the link out when I sent that message. Guys, I'm sorry. Let me just take this quick commercial break here. So I will get a link out to the analyst. My sincere apology. I'm so sorry. Oh, this guy's gonna crucify me, but who cares? Let me take a break.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events, such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services and your friends in business.
There you have it, and folks, I cut out. Thank you. Yeah, this is like very endless problem, and things sometimes makes you to just go off. But the link is out there to the analyst. Bato, good to have you here. Kamara, so we're glad to have you. Ture, good evening, good morning, depending on your location. So good to have you here as well. It's Saturday. It's the young way. How you call that? Rudewe? Okay, Saturday, man. Today is Sunday. So good to have all of you here. Thank you so much. Like I was saying, once we are in the process of getting into a new week, everybody start to scratch their head as to what is the next news, what are another group going to be coming out. So what do we anticipate? And for the most part, sometimes it's just complete distraction. I don't think we really deserve that as a people, as a nation. But what is actually responsible for all of this here? Are we part of the problem for the greater part in terms of our honesty, sincerity, the love, lack of love for the country, or what it is? It's troubling. And there's a need that we from Johnsonville. Johnsonville, what is that in Liberia, Mr. Peter Science? So whichever, I know that they have plenty of Johnsonville places. But whatever, if you are joining us from Liberia, we want to thank you so much for taking up your time, being awake, especially people watching from Liberia. We here in the USA, it's at a little minimum to different time interval, sometime in the east or in the west, whatever, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour here and there. But someone is in Liberia after 8, but this time is literally what, 8 or 12 or 1 o'clock with like a 5-hour difference now. And that's a lot. It is a clear indication that people are looking out there to see the good of their country. Or is it being reciprocated by the politicians, state actors, decision maker, policy maker? Is it being reciprocated to us as a people, as a nation? Is that something that we deserve? I don't know. And we need to have a sort of conversation. You wake up every now and then, sometimes in the social media, people live are listening to Manzola Gisit, the lover boy, and that's a good thing here. We also have a gospel segment on this network, so we just do not only dive in politics. We look at other issues where people are being consolated because of other things that are going on, such an informative. You can also, that's a commercial I was just playing. You can also listen to him. But You listen, people lives being forcibly being taken away. The justice is not being served. People killed. A young guy who just graduated, I believe, is a college, and no matter where it is, it's a human being, and body was just found. What has become the outcome of our investigation? We see these things come out abruptly with the sole purpose of the victims, the families of the victim will guess and bring the case to a closure. Closure in terms of wanting to know who committed such a heinous crime. And at the end of the day, these cases are piled up, endless, no results, no closure. That's the most dangerous thing for people, for citizens to lose hope in their own government, in society, in policy, in decision makers, lawmakers. See the kind of people, what we are having now as a people, as a country. How can a country forge ahead? We have a divided society, divided house, a divided community. Because remember, relationships is sort of a connection from one point to another. So if someone here feels hurt, if someone feels mistreated, someone here feels their grievances is not being properly addressed, that person is somehow connected to that person. So this sort of a connections, that sort of feelings, it all trickled go down from step to step, and eventually those things people act on them, and it can be in so many forms, in so many shapes. It can end up being dangerous. It can end up being bloodied and all of that, if you will, to say, because there are people who react and respond to things in different forms, in different shapes. It doesn't matter whether it is bad or it is good, but the normal process is not being taken into consideration. And that's part of why it is when people feel that the laws of the land is no longer transparent, is no longer serving themselves for the purpose as a human being, then they turn into the sort of self-style way of acting and doing things. That's exactly, and that is not good for a country. It's not good for any society, because it becomes like nobody going to answer me, nobody going to address my issue. Kettle, the link is out there just in case. So I hope so. Johnsonville. Oh, okay, Johnsonville. Okay, Mr. Sion, Peter, thank you so much. Being in Johnsonville there, this sort of hour to watch here, we really, really appreciate you. And so this is what for us, when we come to this conversation here, we want to take our time and not to insert ourselves into this sort of national conversation. And that has been the problem. The media industry, we in the media industry has helped and been part of it, the problem as well, because they tend to be the fixer, it's the calm and the take side, and that's not the goal of a real-time media outlet. But we know time has evolved significantly, so it has shifted the gear of the conversation in terms of what is happening into this world. Hey, Fatu, good to have you here. Happy Sunday. See, my man, Paul here is asking what we said. He seems to be a fan of the liberal. You see how the society is huge and is involved? Why you like, why you don't like, that's the person or the person's like. So we have to make accommodation for this sort of high decision makings of people. You have the liberal who comes here and talk tapata, big drum sing, but that's why he get his fans. They got a saying there's no bad wish for a child. I don't care how that child behaviors or whatever. You ever saw a father or a mother say, throw this child away, a living one? No. Whenever you are there to bury you, then we'll say maybe literally to throw the person away, but not a living one. So there is no bad wish. That's how bad, terrible the Jerry Washingtons and the liberal they are. But they have their people that when they come here to these people expect them to counter, to make their arguments. So we say we do respect that. And you see, uh, another cheering squad Fatu is here. So that's how it is. That's how convoluted. That's how the society we find ourselves in. But back to the point, it's just, I mean, just too much. And when these conditions, unbearable conditions, things are going on, and there will be nowhere in society you will find 100% perfection that everything going to be going on. These challenges will be there, but the priorities. I was watching yesterday, our crew, they were covering the Ruby and Friends Foundation. Our guy was there, were playing. You can see the number of children with intellectual disabilities. These children that want to play a game, but are they playing? Who is really paying attention to that? Most likely not much, because the politicians, the people that are supposed to occupy themselves, or the people to pay attention to them, they are drawn into other things. Their mind is focused on how they will secure their positions. The divided house, they are not having the conversation they're supposed to be having. They are not having they are not going around to see how their community, the pain being felt in their community, the things that they're supposed to address, how they should go about to address them. The conversation they should have as leaders in their community to be able to take on those things. It's not happening. And that's the situation with Liberia. If you don't get, it's up to you. Who can run? Who can run, stay. That's the kind of society. It's not that there's no money in the country. We see people, we hear good money names, but what are the resources being directed to the places is required, and what are those people? Sometimes you hear the money name, the beneficiaries are missing. They don't reach them. No accountability. People do things according their way, and nobody is being properly held accountable. If you have a society where people are not held accountable, where certain group of people feels they are above the law and they can do anything they want to do, nothing going to come on it. It will just become a job on exercise. We talk about nothing, no repercussion, nobody's being reprimanded. That is a serious problem. That's the society we find ourselves in today. And it is important that we really, really address this issue here. So how should we go about to have this issue? So if you were in the presidential seat today, how will you approach that differently than what is happening? The conversations are very, the mayor from Minnesota, the link is out there. Remember, it's been a very bad weather in the East Coast here. So, sometimes when the weather is bad, when it's cold, a car can't start to ride. Yeah, so it means somebody's tired, you gotta take a break. But overall, we'll see. Let's see, my man. Man, this guy is in different form here this evening. How you dress Papi Boyka the evening? Are you why? I thought I was Joseph Boyka Jr. Johnny. I said, but where the heck? Where is Joe Boyka Jr. coming from? Oh, is he a sound? Is he a sound while you are crossing Capra now?
Never, jamais.
Yeah.
I can't cross Capra with people.
Holding people. I don't know. It's a taboo. And that's where my own disappointment, because the rescuer came that they were going to hold this government accountable. That the government got to be audited. And it doesn't matter how people think about it, because it's just a matter of to verify where I'm starting from, where I'm picking up, and where we are as a people. So people will come and talk trash and talk all kinds of things. Oh, that wage, that's not no wage, huh? You don't want to occupy the office without you knowing the resources, the capacity of the institution, because based on what you receive, why you take what I'm taking from cattle, I can go out there to the lobby and say, hey, look, I just got in We don't even have stationery. We don't even have this sort of logistic vehicle, this and that. And that's how you're going to make your case. But when people, even in our own Liberian community, you have organization when somebody they say they volunteer. So why you volunteer? If you're leaving, we got to know what you left in the coffers. You can't just get out and go, and then when people talk it, then you get mad. Who tells you? It doesn't matter you eating money. It's a matter of all verifying where we are as an institution, as an organization, as a nation. So I don't know why this is. That's a good thing. Before I bring in Ketra here, Uncle Sam, sometimes it can sound, it'll be so ridiculous. You go, by the time you go, you receive something in the mail. When you owe them data, they will send you that bill for you to pay. And when you owe them this reciprocal, you also have to pay them. If you don't pay in the long run, the penalties are severe. So I don't know why. So Keta, good Sunday, good to have you here. I think you're going to be peaceful. Two independent voices here for now. I know there's going to be like a nerves breaking for other people when you talk about you independent. People freak out now and all of that. But hey, there's a saying that say people have second chances, and people can have different thoughts. So we can't say this man was this yesterday, so he's still in that bubble, right? So I know when you talk about independent, say them go nuts and they crack their hair and it make them to want bust their hair and on the wall. Well, let them bust it. We're feeling with pour bang it and pour plaster around their hair and stuff like that. Okay, Kato, good Sunday. Good to see you. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing great. It's nice to see you too, CEO. And
I love your phone, man. Why you decided to go in there for? Is that sort of mug that you want to make out of somebody that we don't know, or why are you just dressed like that?
Not really. Every now and then, I got a lot of these hats. I start wearing it for just up work. I start wearing it.
Oh.
Don't forget, my grandfather used to sell a lot of these hats on Randall Street. Kept us limited. We had a tap hat. The one they used to wear at Masonic. We were the only people that was selling that stuff in the country. So I started wearing those stuff from way down the line. But
you're part of the Boyo group?
No, man. We used to sell. They take us.
It reminds me of the GV20 that was 1975, 76 in Sano when they raided people. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, they used to sell top hat, tailcoats, and collages and umbrella walking stick. Those are things that was being sold over there. Yeah, but look, the conversation is unique. When you hear people in campaign time saying, "Oh, we were audited," and they were pushing all these narratives, come to find out they can't do it because most of the things they were saying were a bunch of lies. So who told you the government is not auditing? Every entity the government audit, they come out with nothing. Take for example, they made this guy to be a hero now. What his name on Samuel Twe. We'll audit the publicity they put behind Samuel Twe. We'll do this, we'll do that. They brought the man into the country. They wanted to put him in jail. The man go to jail. They carried the man to court. The man appeared to court about 4 times now. The government said they ain't ready for him yet. The government prosecutor said they ain't ready for him. They get no case on the man yet to even go through the process. 4 times now. You a government that accused this man of embezzling money. You accuse this man for stealing. Let's put it that way, stealing, taking money or misappropriating money. You have all the evidence. You come now, the man appeared to court, the man appeared in the country, the man went to court 4 times. The government went there and said, we ain't got all our evidence yet. This to tell you how the people lie their way to power. And because they lie their way to power, this is the reason why today, with all of the promises they made, they can't come up with nothing substantial. We want audit. We want the Liberian people want audit. If anybody in the past regime, rob the Liberian people or shortchange the Liberian people, they should be brought to books. We want them to be brought to books. But you can't come now when the opportunity is there for you. You can't do it. You're firing people, bringing your own people, lying here and there, misappropriating money. The first thing you came to office, You didn't even enter the office. They didn't give you the legitimacy yet. You start stealing. And it's sad. So that's the reason why we can't hear about this whole thing about all the thing, yeah, this, that, there. Because if it was really true, he has to be rolling today in Liberia.
So then, it's kind of, hey, Lpr-Tv, good to have you here. What a blast last night, man. There was a beautiful event that was held last night here in the Ocean State. People defied the sort of core here, and everybody were in their white ball, man. It was a colorful event. My own sister, to very good to have you. She was there, and that's what we say. Look, but no. So how has this been turned? Going after, in your own words, whether he's been vindicated, I don't know yet. I know it's ongoing, making hero. That's your own talking point. So how is it being perceived on the other side of the eye in terms of what this government is doing, getting to the people? What you consider that as a witch hunt?
Well, I would not really consider it as a witch hunt. I think the government trying to satisfy the political campaign rhetoric they put out there. Unfortunately, most of it, are not nothing. I mean, it's like nothing there. So they will have to call and listen. Watch how they call people. All the people they call, they put them in jail, they free them. Have you ever heard anything from the court? Now, time I went to court, he explained. He went. I think they call it the GCC or whatever, the general auditing or whatever call him. LCC call him. He went there. They were hoping that if he was going to be indicted, now time I walking through, we don't hear nothing about that case. You understand? 2 weeks into the country, 4 times went to court. The government said he ready. And, the government got no evidence yet. He ready 4 times. All right. The man said, I'm waiting on. Let me I'm waiting to go. You're put with nothing. Other people they call, all the other people that call along with some of we don't hear nothing for them. So what it tells you?
Especially there was a lot of cases, alleged death cases being linked with people, past government officials, people who seems to orchestrate. I mean, just to, and the reasons we having this sort of conversation, because when these things we talk about them in the past, and if nothing is done to bring these things to a closure, it speaks to volume that it might continue, and they will continue, because things happen and they were not even addressed. Even to like the incident of the Capitol, which is of most recent, we expect by this time there should be a regular briefing on the update. We saw a video that surfaced. The lock is being changed. It was changed to the chambers. The first time I saw that video, I look at it, I play it over and over, talk to people. I say, no, this is not AI. This seems to be a real time people. But this lack of accountability, this lack of holding people responsible, and politicians tend to always cover up for their own people, even using security apparatus to get these things, to orchestrate this thing is dangerous. We don't know, and I don't know whether we will ever to get to know. And this is how government in everywhere water down stuff. And just before that, the other day, you remember we were talking on this here. We saw the MMD's Flanzameton case and many other cases. That sometimes when government do these things, a picture up there, and people who do not have a critical thought about things, sympathy, empathy, sentiments weigh in, and people take immediate action. We are seeing other governments in Africa, sometimes they stay fake cool and just to get their opponents out of the way.
Yeah.
We saw that.
Speaking of the deaths, right? Let's take one of the deaths in the cases of the 3 missing boys. The United Party pushed that narrative. We had a pathological liar that sit in America in the name of what his name, human rights lawyer Jerome Verder sat and said, President, we are sodomized the 3 boys and took their internal organ because he himself needed some organs, so he took the boy organ. So that was the narrative the United Party pushed even to the international community, because he was all on spoon talking about it like that. Gregory Cuomo came to office, he went back and opened that case, went through the whole process, went to the villages, village by village where the boys passed, went to the very place the guys were before they got on the kino, and asked everybody along that era, and the people admitted that those boys got drowned. So he came on. You saw when he went to Mika and explained, even as he had a police briefing, that yes, the boys got drowned. But if he had not done that, the Liberian people, somebody were going to believe that Red President, we have sodomized those boys, those 3 boys, and took their kidney. I know kidney or what kind of organ about it, because he himself was suffering from some disease. That's the narrative they push. You see the lies, and people believe it. Today, as we speak, intelligent people in and outside of the country still believe that when President Weah came to office, $16 billion Liberian dollar got missing. They still believe that, and they hold that. Instead of saying, even in the media circle, instead of saying no, there was an investigation or international investigation that came and said there was no $16 billion missing, but they're still running with that narrative because they want to pin another group black. And the same group got a painting black. If you come back again and look at it, tell the same people that believe that $16 billion got missing, and you tell them, say, Crispin and Boaka could not have to rob the Liberian people of over $500,000 to buy 5 Eagles. They said, no, it's not true. Today, why do you think Crispin is leaving his office? He resigning. Why do you think he resigning?
Would they provide, talking about that, would they provide explanation, or is that a unique way to exit, to avoid any repercussion, to avoid being questioned at a day? I wouldn't know. But what I do know, look, the Unity Party government, I don't know what I've ever mentioned, is swamped by the Moja boys. The Moja even wouldn't know who's going to come that. If you are not part of the Moja organs, go. It's a very deep insider. Even people who were other progressives who are not Moja oriented, they have different views, critical views, to accommodate them, that would be very, very, very difficult. These people from the Sawyer group, they've been trying hard to get to presidency. Look at Samuel Kofi Woods. I remember Callis and Justice Peace Commissions during the day of Samuel Doe. Those were the voices that really rise up to the top and was speaking, being very vocal, even from military to transition to even civilian. But our military blood DNA was still there, but those guys used to be. Yeah, they are today. They are Larry Toba, all of those people. So it's a different scenario when you are embedded, when you are part of the bear wheel. Then you get to know how government works. Then you get to know all of the different protocols. Then you get to it. Then it's an eye-opening. So, oh, I see what was happening. Now I know I am part of the system. The connections are there. You can, even if you are head of this institution and something happens, before you even speak out, you have to make 1 or 2 calls to give you the authority to do it. You're no longer like a kind of advocate who just stays out there and just speak loud for people to hear you. Now, it says, are we rewriting history?
Well, I think our society is like we rewrite history every now and then. You see, that's the reason we can't get anything straight in our country. We're gonna go back. We will hit the wall. We come back. We hit the wall. We come back. We hit the wall. We continue hitting the wall. This is the reason why we can't move. And I was listening to this Yakwa guy who I think he's the director for EPA, right? And he said something. He said, from time immemorial, our country has not done well when it comes to concession agreement. You know, we always take the little portion and give those companies higher portion, a higher amount of whatever. Take for example the blue forest or green forest, the carbon forest thing they're doing in Liberia. The company that came and did a prospect, they want 70% and get Liberian 30%. You know, and so we always on the losing end of things, and we do it over and again. We do it over and again, not knowing what we have in our possession is worth more that we can benefit from. We take vast majority of it and give it to the business, the foreigners, and Liberia get, you know, a new portion of it, and that's why we're not even developing. So we do things, we rewrite our own history. We read it, we go back again, write it again, we read it, we go back, and not even making improvement on it. So it's just the way of life. So educated people do the same thing. They see what happened our civil war, see what happened during our civil war. We destroy our nation, and today the very people that were talking about rampant corruption, the people are talking about, they were being excluded, they were being marginalized. And I was reading the Dr. Jones piece that he wrote about the marginalization of the, you know, of Liberians, and, you know, the way they ostracize the people from getting involved in politics and all the different things that he put down. Today, what are we doing to ourselves? The disregard for the rule of law. After we cry for so long, we cry for a government of inclusion, we cry for multi-party democracy and all that kind of thing. The indigenous people, it is in our hands today. What we're doing, we are circumventing our constitution. We're trying to put people aside. We're trying to run a dictatorship. Just 1 year ago, we were talking about this other president there. He got dictatorial tendency. He this, he that. Look at what happened today. We are disrespecting our
What is happening today?
Today, the disrespect for our constitution. The disrespect for democracy. Somebody is elected. You play all kinds of games to illegally remove that person. You got 20 positions that the Supreme Court said, no, these people are supposed to stay in that position. You say, okay, you applaud the Supreme Court. You go back, you replace the people. You put acting people there. Blatant violation of the Constitution. So I'm talking about 25, 30 years ago. Let's say in the 80s.
Some of these things, the arguments with other people on the other side, some of these things were also repeated in the previous government. So can we say it's a sort of visual cycle that we found ourselves in order we see as a hypocrisy? In fact, hey, gives them the ground to argue. You did the same thing, so you do not really have the right standing to argue. How do you counteract such an argument?
So that's the thing, Mr. So if you are castigating me for doing something wrong, if you are saying, Wotan, you were insulting on the show, the audience don't like what you were doing on the show, you didn't appear properly, you know, you were condescending at our audience and stuff. Okay? And for this reason, we're moving from there, and I will take your place. And you come, instead of being the reformer, you're doing worse than I did. What justification you got on me again? My thing is, you came to rescue. You saw everything that the previous government did was wrong.
Before you push your point to, have you admitted that yes, I kicked the can down the road? These were things that I did. I shouldn't have done that. I take responsibility, whether directly you or indirectly, because you as the head, people that work for you, you have these people to work for you. Anything that a date on your watch, you are responsible. If you didn't take any action to call them to a vote and you let that slide, you take action. You should come out to say, you know what, I think I'm more mature now. I should have done this. I didn't do it. And you decide to just go solo, and you think that people would not make reference to the past because the history is what the past and the future.
If you're listening, and I'm an independent now, but I want to just put that cap on again so I can remind. I want to remind the audience. If you listen to the former president, he had a couple of interviews in recent times. He admitted, he said we made some mistake. We even took people from tenant position or went to the court. The court told us, no, you can't take this people from the tenant position, and we agreed. We left it. Today, he said it. He said today, and it's on. I'll find that clip and send it to you. He said today, people are removing people from 10%. The same thing we did, and they say it was wrong. Today they're doing it. What are you trying to tell us? Yeah, You cannot be telling me what I did yesterday was wrong. Today you're doing the same thing. What kind of transformation? What kind of rescue are you rescuing? That's what you were trying to say. I accepted my fault. I felt that what I did, it was not roses. It was not roses and honey and everything was now milk and honey, whatever it is. I accepted it. But today you say you came and you told me, you told the people, because I did not do these things correct. I was not able to achieve what I said I was going to achieve. You come not to rescue, but you're doing worse than what I did. So the argument is not even looking back at what this other person did, or not because the people that supported him talking now, you understand, supported the last government talking now. The reason why we Liberians are talking is because you came and said you can change it. If you are changing it, we'll not criticize you. We'll not say, oh, you didn't do it X, Y, Z. You're not changing it, you're even making it worse. So let me name some of the things that the past government did that this government criticized. Today they're doing it. Tenure position. They're violating people tenure position. The government, the last government did it. This government doing it. The government even making it worse. All right? The Constitution. All right? So people said they removed Kabina Janet illegally. This, that, and the other one. Today what we see happening in the House of Representatives. The president sanctioned this removal of the speaker. I don't care how anybody look at it. Because from the get-go, when this man decided to work along with Mr. Bouaka, President Bouaka was lobbying in his office. His chief of staff was lobbying among a black group, the group that supported Richard Coon, to give them 4,500 coupon to go to a place to get furniture and whatever. Yeka Koluba Kima, he said, the people want to remove the speaker. They want to move the speaker. People didn't listen to Yeka Koluba. Where then? In the early part of the year.
Talking about the removal, we're talking about the removal.
Today, what we're seeing here.
Yeah, talking about the removal of the speaker. To everything, there must be a support base. Do you also now, when you realize being the independence was such a sort of free thing to do, it makes you to speak freely. Your allegiance is not to political leaders or even the institutions you once said. When you came to the realizations of being the independent and why, as you claimed it to be?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I have realized that loyalty for Liberian leadership is a waste of time. We have give our loyalty to individual president, whoever. We ain't see them do crap. Nothing.
Including the last one you pledged your support to.
I said Liberian president.
Yeah, but I'm asking you a specific question, including your position in the last election.
All Liberian president. So if you even talk about President Weah, I will put President Weah in it. Because some of the things I
didn't call name.
But you said who are the last president? But I think all Liberian presidents say, including the last one. You want me to call name, right?
I'm waiting to it. I'm just waiting for you to let the cat out of the bed. That's all.
So I am telling you, all the Liberian presidents do good by the Liberian people. Because if President Weah did good by Liberian people, he will not be sitting down today. They will put in their second term to continue doing it, according to Liberian people. And what I see in my country, I see that we put our loyalty behind individuals. We don't put our loyalty behind the country. This is the reason why we are blind. I mean, our minds are blind, and this reason why our eyes cannot see when people are going wrong. So we'll sit down for 6 years, and we see, and we have eyes, but we can't see that our roads are not developed because our loyalty is behind the individual. So the roads are not going to be developed because the individual to us during the campaign time, you are going to turn the sidewalk that president we have built into roads, into modern roads. We have not seen it, but we cannot talk about it because our loyalty is to that person. To talk against that person is to talk against our belief.
So what it appears to me, there's a high gravity of danger involved when people put their trust in their leader and not even following the rule of law or not making the institution to survive, to stand as an institution so there can be a sort of consistency. It doesn't matter what I'm there now or you there now. So there seems to be a danger involved in that based on what you explaining, correct?
Right. Who's suffering today? Who cut on the street today to demonstrate? Who asking for free tuition? Who asking for the pay? Who asking the hospital now? The nurses and doctors are on strike. They want money. They want increase in the increment in the salary. Who asking for that? The very people that say you harmonize my salary, I will harmonize your vote. Today, what they are doing, they are all there striking. They want increase in the salary and all that. My thing is, do not look at the people that you voted for. Look at what they are doing. Challenge the system. Let the system work for us. The president came, he said he will build road. If you don't start building road in the first year, we start condemning him for that. We will make him to build a road because when his budget comes and we don't see in that budget that we need hundreds of millions of dollars to start constructing road, we know he's not ready for road. Take for example, this president talk about the crisis on drugs. Look in the budget, how many amount of money in the budget to really fight crack down on drug abuse in the country. Look there, just look there. Education, the arrested general, education, law, all the things. Look in it and see how much they put there to be able to achieve what the arrested general is all about. No, nothing. So it tells you that it was just political rhetoric to get the Liberian people to ride out against President Weah, and President Weah is out. So my thing is,
they were successful, and they were successful in doing that, right?
Yeah, they were successful. People.
What was responsible? Why? Meaning the CDC never had a strategy. I'm wondering if I hope he will open up, not necessarily to us, but with some other media, which I find it very difficult to talk about their past, what went wrong, what happened. Fatu, send me your email link so you will come here. This is not one-on-one. We have sent a link out to all of the analysts. And anybody you want to join here tonight here, this examiner, we can examine everybody, including myself.
You say why Jesse Leo president? Yes, they say, oh my kids, say why Jesse Leo president?
Your interview with these are people that are also been poisoned by the liberal. So there's no way you can push them to get that liberal person from out of there, So that's how the society works. But do you think? Let's come from Visitor Anna with this. Let's try to jump here and there. President Weah, what could be his reflection in terms of, I should have done this, I should have made some consequential decision. Politics, African politics, unlike the Liberian American politicians, they are unwilling to take a political risk because try to be protective of their decisions and then eventually it throws them off. Why do you think could have been some of the things that got him to this point? If he's coming back, as we have been hearing, and he have said that he was very vocal, he was very vehement that he will come back. Now, politically, do you think that was something making to be like that?
Oh, well, to be what? No, that's my phone. To be honest with you, I would wish that President Weah will speak to the nation if he's given a chance to speak to the nation more, to have an open communication.
Conference, nobody could. It's up to him. Nobody. I don't think anybody restrain his speaking.
No, and that's what I'm saying. To speak to the nation more, to open up for transparency in his government, and not to listening to praise singer, especially in his cycle. And make sure make sure that the Liberian people are given a fair share of the pie. By doing those things, you shouldn't over promise. Tell the Liberian people that look, it's a hard tax. We're going to work together to make it right, to make it work for all of us. The time is 6 years, and 6 years seems to be a long time, but it's not as long as the kind of development our country needs. And for me, to be honest with you, Mr. So, I do not expect President Bouaka to do a whole lot in 6 years. For the way we destroy our nation, for the underdevelopment that our country is faced with now, I do not expect President Bouaka to do a whole lot because 6 years is short. For the way we do our bureaucracy when it comes to our contracts in the country, you take almost a whole year to get even one contract started. You got to go through all kinds of bureaucracy and stuff like that before they can even start the process of road connectivity. Look at the overpass they talk about. Since President Bouaka came to office, the overpass plus the road from Gabriel Tucker Bridge all the way to Simport Bridge. The Japanese committed to do that road for us. Since he came in office, the beginning of the year, we yet to see the Japanese come down and do it. So it's a whole long process. But the thing is, we have to, like Americans say, we cannot overpromise our people to give them the expectation to be too high. We're supposed to tell them in ways that they will understand that, look, this country needs a lot. To reconstruct this country, it will take a very long time. It will take a lot of effort. It will take a lot of sacrifices. It's not something that somebody can just come and do it overnight.
Let's welcome one of the moderates. Sometimes his own people slam him to batching when he makes some say a thing. One day they like him, another day they don't like him. So he's a sort of moderate guy. I don't know how to time in. Mr. Terry Collins is our senior analyst from Minneapolis, Minnesota. He doesn't get along with CC, the labor that much, even though they have that. But he always takes a different line, so they don't like his business. So Terry, good evening, good Sunday. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. To the panel, Mr. So, and to Keta, how you doing, man? Happy Sunday as well.
You too, brother.
So Terry, it becomes like a habit. Every time new week about to officially start with searching on the social media, oh, we're going to happen again this week. We're going to happen tomorrow, first day of the week. We're going to, I don't think we deserve that. I mean, it's good to look out, but for the most part, all of the things that happen becomes a distraction, chaos, lack of leadership, if you will, to some extent. And nobody seems to be in charge. So we are left hanging with respect to what we anticipate here from our leaders, our governments, our civil society, and we as a citizen, people lives. I mean, too much just going on. What should we do? How can we return to baseline to have a stable society? I mean, it's nowhere now, even in America, it's 100% peaceful. But where we begin to be focused, government will be strategic in its development initiative. We are in the screw up in the last hand. They got their hand involved in multiple things, want to do it quickly to appease their base, their demographic, with quick result. At the end of the day, it didn't happen. So we're seeing some in the same light here. Government getting into things without them making sure big public and pronouncement being made. At the end of the day, scam.
Yeah, Mr. So I expect trouble to fall down this week.
You say you expect trouble?
But Liberia is an interesting play. You know trouble will fall down this week. You and I are waiting for the next news. But to be honest with you, the media need to change the trajectory. And I want to believe that the media have not been playing a good role. And the reason too for that is because of impoverished country. They're struggling to bring the news. And like in Western countries, when people make news, they make money. Unfortunately, Liberia is not a place where people make news, get news to make money. So these media guys sell the real news and purportedly present fake news in order to generate money. And that is one of the reasons why the propaganda sale. Today I was sitting down thinking about how Liberia has struggled due to propaganda. You guys were there talking, oh, propaganda did it. Every government have come to power on the basis of propaganda. President Tolbert was killed because of propaganda. All right. After they killed President Tolbert, These were people who came to America and painted the narrative like Liberia was bad, that the government Tobo were running was not correct. The rest riot, they turned the whole thing upside down, propaganda, and they made his government look ugly. After they eliminated him, then they came back to tell us, say, oh, we made mistake. President Tobo was the best president. They put it here on the 100, I don't know. We brought in President Doe. President Doe came, the corruption, propaganda. His government was, it started on propaganda, it ended by propaganda. They slaughtered him on the grounds of propaganda. At the end of the day, they made Doe to be on the 50 that I don't know. They said Doe was the best president next to Tobo. That have been our trend. Even the Ellen-led government, she came to power on the basis of propaganda. She failed miserably. Likewise, Charles Taylor. Charles Taylor was in his prime. Like you guys were talking about, oh, they remove Fonatic, they remove Fonatic Kofa, it's illegal, the international community. Charles Taylor did not end his term. The international community put pressure on Charles Taylor for him to resign in the middle of it, almost to the end of his term. Charles Taylor did not end his yet. The pressure rising for him to resign. He was compelled to resign. He resigned, and that is how, after his resignation, someone way to command him for curiosity. What I'm saying is that Liberia have been, their leadership, President Weah to power for propaganda. CDC left from power on the basis of propaganda. When Joseph Boga leave power, now the people praising President Weah. When Joseph Boga leave power, people again will be saying, oh, Joseph Boga government will go. Why is this happening? It's happening because people envy people when they get in power. That's all. So there's nothing new. But what I'm thinking is the media need to change the narrative. Otherwise,
the media is a conduit that stands in the gap to get this information. You people, the politicians, you people, the supporters of these politicians, you create the news. Our job is to relay that news. So if you don't make up the news, we will not, we who are the processor of the news to the ordinary Liberians. Now, you see, this is what you politicians do. When it falls on you, they try to shift it. You try to give it a new. You try to give it a new picture as if you are not the creator. So, how do you specifically want the media to shift the conversation? When you have, for example, a group of people put together, they say they are blocked, and the poet say we don't want. Okay, let's allow the due process of law. Due process of law was inconclusive. Obviously, you give room to the media. Media, the news is something that is concurrent, something that is happening. Now, what we talk about, we don't want to talk about, so we just make references to some things that happen in the past.
But
So you are the people that allow us to give the news.
So most of the news in Liberia are gossip, no facts finding. At least today, one of the radio station got a fast checker. They can check issues when people make statements. They come back. The other day, Stanley Waterspoon said someone at Tabata on a show. The people debunk him. A fact checker came out and said that lie. Akara's great. Most of the guys, the people can run behind you now for your telling. So we need to have people that will checkmate those who bring the news. Nobody in our society checkmating people who bring information. All right. And look at today, Eugene Fagon. I saw something on the media. You in the government, you working in the government. Then you telling the people, say they didn't call you for your budget discussion. What sense does that make? You the one, then he's saying that he the one can cover. He say, oh, how will LBS cover all your news and anything when you're in call for the budget?
Trust me, in the next coming weeks or months, if presidents break out of, I think that's one of the things that he needs a reshuffle. But there's a high volume of conversations currently taking place within the EFBS corporation, higher management level, board of directors, and that has potentially reached the president. At this point in time, according to a source who actually work there, swinging and pressing, too much is ongoing. They didn't pass that, but the conversation is taking place. I think Eugene Fagon would most likely get a reassignment.
I think so.
That he cannot end up ESB. That is a very strategic place.
But you know what he did, Mr. So? The man, after you finish making that propaganda, that topic, you talk that thing, it's all on the media now. Opposition media taking it up now against him, making the government look bad. One of the representatives responded and said, "But you never presented a budget. You never presented your budget." So the people went with the previous budget and something. But then you know what he did? Tomorrow he bringing one of CDC senior critics on the LBS to discuss the news. You see how they can put a foot in the mouth, that what Labor always say, and put trouble. He bringing one of CDC senior critic, which is not a bad thing because the way he started, that one was making it bad. He started in a way where he was making the radio station a propaganda, running propaganda here and there. Now he realized that you need to be balanced, because if you're not careful when they fire you, what will become of you? You know, and sooner or later, I won't be surprised.
Credit, Terry.
Who is
the
he?
CDC credit he bringing?
One, two. Yeah, to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, I saw it on LBS. He will be going there tomorrow.
Let's see. You know, if you remember, when we're having a conversation here, right? I say he is gradually getting to his managerial demise. When he started the issue, then Lpr said, since you asked your man, since one lie, he went there.
Since it was there the other day, I think I saw Sisse there. But Lpr can't go there anymore.
Why? Yeah, your man.
Lpr fire is there.
That's another octopus. That old man, another man. He just put his hands so put a feet so and just entangle himself. But obviously, you know, that's what happened. And this is where the president himself needs to take cue from, because George Weah also made a mistake. People who he felt that were in the vanguard to bring him to leadership. Nothing wrong with people that really support you to politically reward it. The essence of these people talking, growing their veins, stretching their neck, talking all night with headache. At the end of the day, they want to be part of the fry. They want to be in the picture. I'm not going to say and talk for somebody free at the end of the day. Say, no, yes, they do it for the country, but these people need political reward, period. But at the end of the day, your products, what you're going to produce, that's what matters. And I'm telling you, for Eugene now, he just gone over the back. And, you know, I think the president will just allow himself to drown himself into that lake so that it will be something so they can't, because he's just jumping into it. Your position is a ministerial position, for God's sake. And you just write on the public network that they're not, why are you crying, baby, cry? You don't know the protocol? You don't know what, you don't know how to go love it? It's right. Because you neglect your responsibility. You, as the managing director of a state-run broadcast corporation, you dare to distribute news, the government's agenda to different new outlets across the world. Instead, when former president talks in the church, then you come, you puffer, you say, you want to do facts versus fiction, you want to put people in. That's not your job. That's not your job. You should be working how to the rural communication network that we used to have before, how these traditional programs in a dialect, how, EFBC will work with these local, community network, that government's agenda to be enhanced. You're taking time to be more or less the presidential spokesperson to put things into right, when you have the Minister of Information, who is the official spokesperson of the government, and sometimes the Minister of Foreign Affairs, depends on the nature of the situation. You focus in a time that you want to go get anybody. Now, they not call you because the thing they're supposed to call you for, you did not meet the deadline, you did not send it, and you expect them to babysit you. I think you're one of the first victim in this government when it comes to reshuffle.
I think, brother, so most of the government officials, even in the past government, after winning election, they think they are still in election mode, like campaign mode, and attacking the other political parties and the other government, instead of forcing forward to say, let's move ahead with our agenda. They continue to look back Like, oh, when you see people come on social media or come in the news space and say, oh, Mr. Bwaka ain't do this, the first thing they say, oh, what's about President Weah? He didn't do X, Y, Z there. You know, instead of saying, look, we're gonna do, instead of saying we're forging forward, we taking our time to do X, Y, Z, they will make reference to the next government, the previous government, and it happened in Weah government. And, you know, so we have propagandists like Eugene Fagon at the broadcasting, not the broadcasting, at information ministry, instead of disseminate government information. You were there attacking Unity Party people who will come and antagonize the government instead of pushing the government narrative forward. And then he was caught up in, with his pants down when the American put him on the spotlight by being divisive. Now you got him now over there. You got even the present information minister. He goes back attacking President Weah on things that he got no business attacking. Weah is not in the office. You got Mo Ali. Mo Ali comes on Spoon. Instead of talking about his agenda, the arrest agenda, they're attacking CDC and President Weah. The people gone. They're behind us. There's a possibility that they will never come back to power. There's a possibility that will come back to power. But you have it now for 6 years. What you do will define you as a person. You know what I'm saying? Because you made all these promises, work on them. Make sure you get water in the city. Make sure you open the roads. Make sure you clean the city. Make sure you do those things that you promised the people. But you're not doing it, and you're going back to say, oh, they did this in the past. Nobody will know. This is the reason why you came and Labrin posed and said, since you said those people were not good in the past, we put you there. Do it good now. You can't be looking back and, go forge forward. And I didn't mistake.
All right, let's take our first caller here. Just take your Tylenol as Esther will say 500 milligram or maybe 800 milligram. Caller, good evening. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Deliver Power.
There we go.
Look, Terry. I know what you talk about balance. Do you understand what balance? You are a pastor as well, be balanced and neutral. But you involve yourself. Only the probably say you can see that President Bola become president. I only probably say you can see. But you know what's why the probably say they'll fail you for a year. You know what's why I probably say. But you don't want to be balanced. If I go to Mama, if I go not balanced, and you support you. Listen. The thing is, when you support something and it fail in a way that you not expected, you just have to hold on and keep pushing. But look, if you saw Kabila Jana today, a strong supporter of Baka is listening to him. Even Satan are talking on that. Satan said give up. All of them give up. But you as a pastor as well being neutral. You saw bargaining thing and that, and you keep laying complaint like all government do this, the government do this. I mean, you guys feel it gradually by gradually. Look at what happened. Do you understand what I say? Budget, what budget be passed without even somebody go there to defend their own budget or entity or ministry. That's all defend a budget. Nobody ever defend a budget. And the budget passed for 1 year budget. That nobody defend. It's so sorrowful to extent.
Okay.
Look at what it's contributing. You're like our gospel. People discuss it, but you're there after defending the wrong thing that continue to be wrong.
Let's pick up this other call here. Okay, let's see here. Elvis is joining us from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Elvis, good evening.
Good evening, Professor, and hello to you and the panelists. I was thinking I wanted to ask a question because maybe I got my information wrong. Has the president visited the Southeast since he's been president for the first year?
Whether he has visited the Southeast?
Yeah, any county in the Southeastern region.
Well, maybe.
Maybe
probably if I missed that, but usually it's president traveling, so you will see a publications or I can't say, but I don't think he has gone to the Southeast since his presidency. Is that a question you were asking?
Yeah, because I want to make a statement, but I want to be factually correct because I just want to imagine.
I don't think I know the last time the presidential spokesperson they said going to be a county tour. They didn't give they were going to get a calendar of event, but I think it was the time the season tour was on our rep in terms of rural condition. But since then, nothing has come. But what's the basis of that question?
I'm just thinking about it. I'm sitting here. I'm thinking like the country is obviously divided, and you have, pretty much almost split down the middle. And our president goes he gives it one side of the country, and he neglects the other side of the country. And for all the things that's going on, and the way that this government is reflecting mostly one side of the country and parts of Fairbanks County, I wonder if you think that this is sustainable for the next 5 years. It's isolating more and more people, and we can talk about how he disrespected the rule of law. We all know that. But I wonder, what is his rationale? What is his thinking? The thing that he will only go on, maybe to go to these countries on a county tour, when it's almost like maybe a mandatory thing, rather than a voluntary thing to say, let me go say hi to these people. These are people I represent, even though maybe they didn't vote for me. But let me go visit them. I think President Weah, during his presidency, went to local countries. I can't even count the amount of times that he went there. And obviously, he loves local before they could pick up Wi-Fi. The only country he loves. But he went there and visited those people. He fought, along with Thomas Fowler, they invested in local counties. He never neglected the people of local. So this is the difference. When people talk about leadership, even though they think that Weah is a bad leader, but when it comes to these two people, this is a unifier. This is a man who, even the county that didn't vote for him, and logically so, he went there and he showed gratitude to the people. He was a friend of that county. There was close associate of his in the government. He came from that county. So for me, all the other politics thing we're talking about, the guys, got a problem with. But I'm saying in a deeper issue, in our tribal divide in our country, this president, he hasn't shown any effort or made any effort to try to close the divide by going there and meeting with the people. I don't know if it's a traditional thing that's going on with the people from local that they don't want to go on that side of the country. But I think that he needs to go there. Now that he got that little duster plane, what they call a duster plane, that can fly at low altitude, maybe he can get in the plane and try to go there and visit. Maybe he'll get to excuse the roof and people are bad, blah, blah, blah. But let us see how president going there. During campaign, never step foot there one time. First year of the presidency, he never step foot there one time. What's going on there? To get medicine on the roof for king when you go there? What's really going on? You gotta ask our president that question. So that's just the question I wanted to proffer. Maybe you guys can talk about it. Maybe Terry can give us the logistical reason behind why the president is not going. But if not, I want to know if you guys think it's in the best interest of unity for our president not to visit a particular region of the country after 1 year of his presidency and during the whole election period. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Okay, so that's another way of picking out terror here indirectly. So let me reference this to terror. Mr. Collins, is that a fair inquiry on the part of Evis, or just another try? You try not to call your name and all of that, but indirect. He's speaking a specific tone that I know. Fair inquiry.
Well, Evis have his way of coming in, and it's fine. For me, I don't have a problem. People criticize me all day. It's up to them. The truth is that the reality have sunk in. All right, and President Weah is no more president because we said what we heard, and it came to pass. That is the main thing. God selects His people on the basis of what He wants. Before President Weah came to power, there were a lot of people who said Mother Dukley prophesied that President Weah was going to change the trajectory of the country, bring development. He was the one, blah, blah, from the Southeast. But to no avail, that was not achieved. We only saw massive corruption and all of that. Now, and that is on that basis that the people turned against him and decided to remove him from power. Now we have Joseph Boyka, who is now in power. It is up to him to make the right decisions. If he fails to do that, it's going to be a problem. But with the issue of him going to the Southeast, this is just his first year. President Boyka has not even gone to major places. This is just imagine saying he became president. This is his first time going to his hometown. All right. To me, I think Evans have a point. If President Boca, because myself, I think President Boca needs to reconcile Liberia, and he's old enough to do that. One of the problems that I think I have with President Boca is that he has divisive tendencies, and I said that on other platforms. He have divisive tendencies. All right, and people say he got a black book. I don't know how true it is. You know, there are gossip of presidents and things. But he needs to go to the places where he was not voted for in huge numbers, like the Southeast. Like for me, I didn't hear anything Gideon talking about the Sano Road. The Sano Road is a major highway road that brings major trade in Liberia. All right. And I'm not hearing nothing about the Sando Road, about paving that road. That road connect from Greenville to Grand Coup County, all along the sea coast. I have traveled there before. It's a very long road from Monrovia. The Sando Highway is just almost like from Monrovia to Lofa. It's almost the same distance, or from Monrovia to Grand Gide or to Zwedru. So I didn't hear him talking about it. I don't hear the president making mention of the Southeast much. And I know they talk about a 60-year celebration of Grand Gide and all of that, but you went to have that celebration in Lofa, your hometown. I think those who really advised the president on that did not do well. The president should have used that opportunity to go into the Southeast, go to Grand Gide. That program should have been held either in Grand Gide or Sano County. You understand? That is what you call reconciliation. You can go sit down to celebrate 60-year celebration of Maryland, Grand Gide, and thing in your county where you are already celebrated. That's not reconciliation. I think the people who made that
and the worst thing, Terry, let me just take let me just take a few minutes, 1 minute at a time. The worst thing about it is he didn't go by road. He flew in his county. Right. So he could fly into Grand Gide. He could fly right into Grand Gide and have the program like you said. But again, it's about you see the mindset, and people think that because I support that president, we are and say I'm trying to bash Bouaka. No, it's not that. The fact is, you have to unite the country. Looking at how the election went, bring the people together. Call call LA, call Kumis, call the people. It's time for all to move the country forward. I'm the oldest person here. I think it's about time I'm gonna do one turn. So I need you guys to come together so we can make this thing work. The election was bitter, people died, but let's bring the country together. But I don't see it happening, and that's the sad thing about it.
That's my own weakness. I have.
See, that's the difference with Terry, with the liberal, and that are back on. And very few people are bold to speak to issue. I myself had, and that's just me. I just think that wasn't the right thing to do. First of all, I see that as the reunifications of this Tubman way of doing things, which didn't even Tubman came with this what a so-called open door, but actually in reality it was a closed door policy that he brought. So bringing Sano, Maryland, and then the worst of it, because I listened to other network. The interview saw how ridiculous it was, Brandon Samuka, and then the sitting senator, how all of them had a different statement, because when they asked Samuka, he said, oh, there were the people who were planning it. But when Senator Jala, who is a sitting senator, and we have to believe Samuka, because Samuka works with the president, provides security detail, and all of that, say, yeah, okay, we'll put it in the president, and the president decides to, he's dead. So now, if you want to do that kind of thing, you can draw out a sort of comprehensive calendar, all right, and say maybe this is my start off point. But to your point, I agree. Maybe one of those counties in the southeastern side, because this is where our politicians lack the political will and temperament I always talk about here. At this point in time, it's not about you. You already there, but you want to be the deal. You want to be the king's maker. You want to make your legacy to sustain. You want to eventually, at the end of the day, if you decide not to even run, to lift a hand. So wherever you didn't do well, you want to put in time so that the sort of mindset, the perceptions of the people that have about you, that can, you can wash that away. But again, talking about Gideon's, because Gideon, yes, he's doing something, but with the money business, it didn't go down well with most people. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he is one of the person to be racked when the reshuffle comes. But I think from all indication, Grisby is giving way. It is a clear indication there are some people who are not serving this president right, who are not doing whatever agenda this president is pushing, and it wouldn't be good for him because former president we had did that. There were people maybe try to be conciliatory based on their sacrifices, their political time they put in, but you cannot allow sympathy to exceed your interest because it's all about your legacy as well. But I think that was a very good observation, in doing that. I don't think I don't think it was really relevant to start up with your to your play. I don't know what conversation was here.
To add to that, Mr. So especially a year-end program. This is the end of the year. This is the best time with all the hulu balu in the country. And you already have a Southeastern speaker being contended. This could have been the best opportunity for him to go to the Southeast and reconcile with the people. Reconcile with the people. Because listen, 6 years is nothing. Before you bat your eye, everything is gone. You will be back into the elections, and the people will remember. This is an opportunity for you. 60 years anniversary. You go right back to your own hometown, the place where you have been familiar, where the people familiar with you. Then you call that reconciliation or celebration. I think President Boyka's reconciliation project is very poor, and he need to revamp that particular stuff, or else he may lose credibility with the people very soon.
Okay, yeah, let's look at the nomenclature of this whole event. What was the essence of it? What becomes of those other counties that are now within that? Who going to initiate that? Right, you are the father of the land. So, Keto, who gonna initiate that? Why it could have been given star different name, but why? What sort of solidarity is that? That solidarity has not been existed in real time. But don't get me wrong, Grandgide and Lofa, there is some sort of historical ties in terms of when Samuel Doe was president, the VP was from Lofa. So there is some sort of link. But it was an ideal time for him to have done that. And even if he were to do that, the rejections based on the vote that came from Grandgide at the time in the last election, like Terry Respoli said, that would have been something to say, hey, this is not who I am. But politics is just politics. Maybe he didn't put in more time. He didn't go there. He assumed it's George Weah land. And so maybe putting in resources was of meaningless to his presidency, which could be a good arguable point. But by you going there, you have to twist the kind of like weed out this sort of apprehension in the minds of the people. Let's go to our man Victor from North Carolina. Victor, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Joe, and good evening to you, Keta and Terry. So the reason why I call is because I disagree with the assertion you guys are making on the issue of the president's visit to Lofa County.
Okay, that's the beauty of this.
I disagree. Just because the president is from Lofa doesn't mean that he cannot go to Lofa County to celebrate the 60th anniversary because that was the essence. Now we're missing the essence and misinterpreting just the county because the president is from Lofa. Now, it would have been a wise thing for the organizers to take it to Nimba or to Grandgide. I agree. But the essence of the program is because those 4 counties, according to the government, was founded in 1964 by William Buchanan Shadrach Tottenham. And he founded that 4 counties because I watched the program today. He founded that 4 counties. I listened to the former superintendent of Grandgide. He founded the 4 counties on the basis of unification when they decided to go to a county status so that they can have representation in the national legislature. That was the reason why President Tubman funded those 4 counties. And if you all can remember, in 2024, when President Salih took then Senator Weir and Joel Howard to go and do the dedication for that road, the Manikoma Highway in Banga, I think around that place. It was the time they were supposed to have the 50th celebration. But because of Ebola, according to President Waka, it was pushed from that time in 2014. That's how they pushed it to a later date. And fortunately for him, he became the president now. So they decided to have it for the 6th year. And this year makes it the 60th anniversary of the 4 counties being funded. So I think that it was not a bad thing, whether Lofa, Grand Jury, Minda, the idea is that it's being held is a good thing. Now, I think the organizers who are done better are taking the 2 former presidents. If that one you all want to talk about, I will agree with you guys. Taking the 2 former presidents who have done a good thing. Because you're talking about national unity and unification. So taking the 2 former presidents, President Selly and President Weir and other stakeholders who have done a very good thing. So why they didn't do it, I don't know.
Ask a question, Mr. So.
They need to relook at it, and the next one, as I said, they will either take it to Grand Chile or they will take it to Nimba next year. That's a very good thing. But I think this time around, they need to invite other stakeholders on board so that it can be more significant. Like I said, I listened to the guy from this former superintendent from Grand Chile. Everybody that spoke, he spoke very well. He spoke very well. All his points were well taken. I enjoy him. He told the president he need to include the former fighters from Grand Chile and Nimba to bring them to the table so that they can unify them. He talked about the road condition that the president should look at, fixing the road in the southeast because Liberia had 2 presidents from the southeast and those roads are not being fixed. His points were well taken. I hope the government can consider his point and that they can do better. For you guys, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity, Mr. So as always. I will find time to come on video one of these days. So have a good night.
Okay. All right, that's the beauty. We must have these sort of.
I wanted to ask a question before you go, but
no, I don't think you can give your. We shouldn't. I don't want us to be asking our people, even though you want to, because then sometimes you feel it's good for people to express their views, their opinions. I just have to critique people here too. But does he have a point, Terry?
well, he still agree with us anyway because I don't see where he gave up with us. That's why I wanted to understand. Where are you there? Because
we did mention about extending an invitation to the 2 former presidents,
right,
and see who will go. This is how you kind of like unveil people their actual self. There are some things that people will not even, they might not even want to go there. George, you are most likely could have gone there, but just send it. So when he say you're not going on the idea, you are playing your own, you are playing your part. But yeah, go ahead, make your response.
Yeah, so this is what we call reconciliation, and you're talking about amendment. First of all, do you have cultural dances? That's why I wanted to ask in cultural dancers from these various locations like Nima County, the culture troop from Nima County, the culture troop from Grand Jide, from Sino. They're at the same displaying the various cultures. Were they inclusive? Were these various locations, these counties, really inclusive? I'm not talking about people that play to the caprices of the government. I'm talking about people that are organic, that from the place, that you were able to properly solicit from all these counties to join you in our place. And why will you do this, knowing very well that the president is from Lofa County and you go to Lofa County to do this thing? All right? You could have done it to a different county, and then the following year you do it in Lofa. Then people will not notice. They will say, oh, but the president had this thing last year in the southeast. So he decided this year now to go to a home, which makes sense. But if you're trying to reconcile the country, all right, your first approach, especially the Unity Party under Madam Sirleaf, right, did not perform well with the Grenadians. The Grenadians have a problem with Unity Party because the way Eddie Johnson said he treated the people. I think they put some people in jail. He had them in jail all majority of the time or something. So you, and maybe because of that anger, the people exerted the anger on you because you're from Unity Party. So you need to create a opportunity for reconciliation to say, I'm not Man Sirleaf, I'm not Madam Sirleaf, by going there or sending delegates or so that will bring people, cultural troop and other things to be fully participant of that particular ceremony. I don't know whether they did that. There's a possibility. But my advice would be, or recommendation would have been to the president, that take this thing to the Southeast or take this thing to, Grand Judea or Maryland or Nima for the first time. And then, like, take, for example, look at what he's saying, that the guy was talking about how they wrote this, they wrote that. How would the president know all that if he didn't go there? If he didn't go to Nima County, how would he know all those kind of things? So I think he agreed with all partly. And like you said, he didn't invite Madam Sirleaf, he didn't invite or what he named or President Weah. And the embassy said it. The embassy said you need to reconcile the country. If you want to have a smooth leadership, you got to reconcile. And you older, you are the best person to reconcile the country. Your age.
He has opened a can and won't come here. And I think, Terry, you really put it in the real context. This is where we need to be honest. We shouldn't just look at one segment of something and then it trickles, differently, because he is the president. Whether we like it, you like it or not, whether you voted for, you voted against, you are the president. Your decisions, directly, indirectly, it matters, because that's what people are going to take into account. And two, it was kind of like conflicting statement coming from one sitting senator and someone that works within the presidency. But my point here is, because from all indication, what we heard from the senator, they got the view of the president, and the president made suggestion to the organizing committee. So now, what becomes of those other counties that didn't get their independence within the 60s? Who going to be the one to initiate that? And you rightfully said that. But he even going to Grand Judea, not necessarily have to go there, but for political purposes and to soften the high ground, because he was then sitting vice president when those people were incarcerated, sent to life imprisonment. Some people today have visual problem because of that. Whether what they did was wrong, it was right. Well, you was a sitting vice president. You support the agenda of the president. At that time, maybe you had a different view. We don't know. Nothing have been spoken about it. But by you going there, that shows you you don't have to say it. That is a clear indication we know there was some rough edges in the past. But I'm here now as a father of the nation. I am the decision maker. It's a clear indication that we need to move ahead. And you are also doing that at the end of the day, where you decide not to seek the higher office of the land, but you are speaking directly to the minds that were in doubt about you or whatever it is, that have softened it. But that did not happen. Keto.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Terry said it. I mean, he caught it straight to the chase. When I look at President Boakai, right? I think he needs
when you're calling his name and placing emphasis on that, that's just a provocation to Terry now, and then Terry will want to fire back President Boakai. That sort of way of pronouncing the name. You're trying to provoke Terry, because we've been having you see how the conversation is so peaceful. The two dramatics are not here tonight. Cynthia is not here. Liberal is not here. Jerry is not here.
I see the CEO trying to instigate it, Ryan. You're not going to get off for that. You're not going to.
I was just trying to sound my alarm, but go ahead.
Anyway, no, on a serious note, look, I think President Boakai should be the bigger person in the room. I think he started on the wrong footing. When he started with President when we are by allowing people. I am not sure. I don't want to believe he gave that instruction that President Weah should not use the VIP lodge. I don't want to believe that. I think that people who around him that have beef with President Weah, because as far as concerned, I don't think President Bouaka actually got any kind of strong beef with President Weah to the extent where he don't want to talk to him, don't want to see him at all, and don't want to mention him. I think people around him, as far as concerned, take for example the information minister. He'd be so denigrating when you're talking to the former president. It's like you're the former president, you're on the same level. No. And I don't think I think maybe you think because he went to school abroad or he went to the University of Liberia or whatever, he denigrated the president like he and the president on the same level. And you look at people like I believe like Samuel Kofi Wood. Don't forget, Kofi Wood and President we hadn't come along from a long way from the establishment of CDC. So Kofi Wood got a bad blood with President Weah because his brother-in-law or his whoever closer friend who is Jerome Vredia, they wanted to put Kofi Wood to be the stand-up bearer for CDC. But Jefferson Koji then at the time and all those young beginners say it's not going to happen. They got to go to the brought President Weah on the forefront. All those things.
So let me stop here. Are you seeing what we're seeing now? Because those guys are the proteges of the Mojad boys. I would know exactly how the Mojad progressive type of people here. Do you think is since they were not able to hijack, quote unquote, these young folks here with CDC grassroots movement, is that being transferred to the United Party, or do you think? And then before you end your point here, I want to ask Sterry, without considering all that is going, can this president unify the country?
That's for me or Terry?
No, end your point, then I will send it to Terry. But I just wanted to.
Yeah. So I think those guys are still holding on to that grudge from the past. And it is seen because when you listen to Jerome Vredia, some of the things he said about President Weah, and everybody knew it was a lie. Everybody knew there's nothing true about what he was saying about President Weah when he sat in America here on Spoon TV and spoke. And then come to find out, we got the whole historicity of Jerome Vredia and of the worst President Weah. Now we see, legal or political advisor in the president's office also telling this president or giving direct order coming from the president's office that the former president should not use the VIP lodge. You disrespecting him. That it hurts President Weah. I understand. A place that I just built, I just furnished, I make it decent for us, and you telling me I cannot go there, I cannot pass there. As a matter of fact, you bring in all the dignitary and let him pass there. It's something that bothers him too. But again, I don't think President Bouaka actually is the one that running the show. The people that run him running the show. That's why Mo Ali can come out when they're talking about the majority black. Instead of the government, the executive stay away from that. Mo Ali will come out in defense of them prior to them even electing a speaker. He will come out and defend their own spoon. It's like, okay, Mo Ali is the spokesman for the government now. And because all these guys have something that they say, okay, the old man, he does not know how to run this government. We will run this government for him. What we say goes. But like the question you posed to Terry, this man can unify the country if he call the leaders together. He called Ellie. First of all, he gotta mend that bad blood between him and President Weah. He can't call Weah and talk to Weah. Call my Ellie. My Ellie and Weah cool. Call her and say, look, I want for the country to move forward. Bring President Weah. Let us sit and talk to my son. What happened? Let back on me back on. And let move the country forward. We will see that people will work. President Weah is a soft man. Today, if you see CDC, Terry said something on the show the last time. He said if President Weah just orders seditious to come on the street, that demonstration you saw going to the Capitol building, it would have been something different. Sedition was sitting back. That just ordinary people you see on the street running around. So if President, and the reason why they didn't come to the street because President Weah told them to constrain themselves and let it work in the interest of peace. That's why you see they relax. So he can do the same thing to sedition and say, look, we got to work along with this government, even though this man are president now and whatever, let's work along with these people because it's in the interest of Liberian people. Until then, this country will still be stalled. The government process will be stalled. The development process will be stalled because President Bouaka, the people around him, they're disrespecting the former leader, and you can't do that. The country is divided seriously.
Okay, Terry?
Yeah, I want to disagree with Keto on a few things. First of all, the VIP launch, according that was discussed, the information went that there is a VIP session for former presidents and dignitaries to pass through. So it's possible that I agree. If it makes you to feel bad when you build something or renovate it, something and make it look good, and all of a sudden when you leave power, you know, you want to feel that respected by allowing you to go there. But protocol demands, because you must understand President Weah is former president. So former president, especially being in power, got people, supporters and things, anything could be done, you know. So that particular law President Weah bill supposed to be specifically for a president. It's a presidential law. So according to the information, President Weah was giving the VIP session, but he chose to go another way, which I agree because it can hurt anybody. You just renovated a place, normally come. But with the aspect of, you know, President Bouaka reconciling, he don't even need to go to Ellen. President Bouaka can say that President Bouaka and President Weah House are very close. I've been there before. I've been to rehab.
I said they are neighbors.
They are neighbors. And when President Weah won the election, President Weah went to President Bouaka. He went to the main house. President Weah, all the time, he's a friendly guy. He like to operate normal, like he like to do normal life. President Bouaka, if President Bouaka picks up the phone today and call President Weah, he will answer. And President Weah will get in a car and drive to President Bouaka's house, or even walk to go there. But I think President Bouaka have, like I said, he got divisive tendencies. And he don't respond unless you push him. Like what happened a few days, all right? Or with the fire, because the fire went to the place, you could see how angry he was, and you could see that he was now compelled to have conversation with that he had conversation with the majority and the minority black. Something that he should have done ever since. You know, he just a turtle. You got to put the fire on the back before the turtle can move. So he want to see some kind of, that what I was saying, that a real organic CDC protest will wake President. And I thought that was the route they were going to take, but obviously they went to a different route. But President Bouaka needs to wake up, and the only thing that can wake up is force. You got to pressurize him with some kind of a protest or something that will wake him up. Because to be honest with you, there are too many things going on in the country that is unaccounted for. And we ourselves will feel discouraged in some of these things. And for me, I always say this on the show, and that is why I always project myself to be neutral, because I talk about the good, I talk about the bad, I talk about the ugly. You understand? Eh? So, like Ellen had a weakness of she had that same kind of weakness to when she get in Chemna with you. That the same weakness President we have a weakness to almost the same. When they get in Chemna with you, you go or you come down, you and them will be on it. But President Bouaka, the tendency seems to be different. It seems like to say when he gets something with you, he will look at you, talk to you, but in his heart, you and he not going to make it. It's almost like what Edwin Snow said. I'm beginning to realize that this is something serious that we got to look at now. He talked about the Black Book. He talked about President Bouaka reminding him prior to the election about certain things that I think his father or somebody did to him. That the president brought it out, you know, and I'm beginning to sense that tendencies in him. You understand? So I hope he don't allow his weaknesses to cause problem for his leadership. I'm really praying for that he do not allow, because sometimes your weaknesses can be used to destroy your leadership. All right, and you like President Weah. One of the things that made President Weah fail was because he had problem with Prince Johnson. If President Weah have overlooked that rift that he had with Prince Johnson and go to Prince Johnson and just tell Prince Johnson, "Oh, Papa, I will do everything. What you want me to do, I will do it," and do what he's supposed to do. But now we're not talking anything about now. President Weah is the next president. But because of your weaknesses, if you allow your weaknesses to overcome you, it will cripple your leadership politically. And I think that is what is going. I think in my mind that if President Boga is not careful, his divisive tendencies will hinder him from being successful in his leadership.
So basically, it speaks to the volumes. All our leaders, they like this political temperament. They don't let things go. And I think I quite agree with you because we also, what happens during the appointment, before even Mo Ali, the party chairman, would know the rift. There were a lot of things Tip came out, what they said, and he held that up until there was extensive internal conversation and say no before they got to this point here. Considering all of that, does he really, can he pivot? Can he change the narrative? For people to erase this sort of notion to something. We saw what happened with, and you're quite correct with the issue. And that was the CDC fault because Prince Johnson, the ultimate decisions of the 20th, the end of election result was in Prince Johnson hand. Anywhere NIBA have gone, Prince Johnson demanded certain amount. That was not a hidden thing. McGill was the special envoy sent by the CDC from President. You see, that's the difference with McGill. McGill know how to, and that's what is lacking with our politicians. They don't know how to cut deal. There were nobody they could really find to meet Prince Johnson. And Mange took their time, even though he was not chairman, sanction, all of those kind of things were in the making. He decided to go there, and he managed to kind of like bring to a neutral conversation to the lay senator, and the lay senator said, "Yeah, and it's all about politics. You give me this, I give you this." But guess what? They have some other folks within the CDC who thinks it was all about publicity. Oh, we can do without it, man. Forgetting to know you have to get certain numbers in order to put you to the finishing top. And they were not willing to make that political sacrifice. And at the end of the day, now president or candidate capitalized on that, which again, we saw the relationship didn't go that well to get us to be where we are. Before we go here, Fresh Week is about to started in Liberia, and I don't know. I don't know whether we'll ever hear from the Supreme Court, and you guys can wrap up before we go. This is what is coming front page Africa, Liberia, the ultra-virus. Speaker Kofari has told majority bloc passage of the 2025 budget amid ongoing legislative rift. We have all of this here because this could send a sort of reminder to other people, and that's how the business starts. The pass of the Unity Party of Helen Johnson salute did not go well. People felt alienated, have not been part of the process, and that is the same southeastern side. Kofa is already on that side. We see all where you go into just where you mentor. How can this president, within a shorter time frame, kind of restructure this whole healing process? Does he have the capacity to do it? And do you agree with Keta? Because Keta says something, there are people who are running the show. And that's what we were saying yesterday when it comes to the former president, George Weah, the Mangay, the Jefferson Koji, the this, that, and all of that. So we have become a country where we have a leader, but they are hidden leaders who conduct the affairs of the country. How dangerous is this situation if it is true?
Well, I want to disagree with Keta on that because I think JMB has his own ability to lead. He's, he understands the issue. He understands the nitty-gritties of the issue.
Yesterday, I'm not sure whether you said that. Yesterday, we all were talking here. If you didn't say that, that's okay. Politicians are very good to straighten their past history. But Were you also one of those that were talking yesterday that somebody were somebody were cutting the shaft from George Weah?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. The reason being, President Weah also control things, but President Weah came to the presidency with little knowledge of power, little knowledge of the presidency. He came with the heart of love for his people to do something. And that is why you saw the crowd that attended President Weah's inauguration at the SKD, because people's hopes were high. They were very high because they felt that President Weah was not a normal, regular politician. He was just going to deliver. So because of that, he was propped by politicians to do otherwise. Unlike Joseph Yuma Boyka. Joseph Yuma Boyka served as vice president for 12 years. He has spent all his life in government. So he knows government policies. So anything that is being initiated, I agree, there are people that can tell him stuff, but he also play a pivotal role in making decisions on most of the things that they tell him. So I don't want to agree with people who say that the president, he need to change the people that are around him, blah, 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 all of that.
So, in other words, before Keto comes in, that sort of template that we have for Joy, we are all that the people, you are telling me every decision, actions, or happenings within this government, Boyka been in government for the long years. He's in the know of everything and he endorses it, correct?
I strongly want to believe he's in the know. And that is the reason why you've been seeing some nomination put forth and then is withdrawn multiple times.
Including the forcibility removal of the speaker. He's in the know.
So you see where you want to go at? But I told you time and over and again that it is possible that the people will believe that he's in the know, not me, because there is no facts.
No, but it is you that I'm asking. You. Let's forget.
So you know,
this is the problem with analysts.
No facts
because the reason analysts supposed to be objective, but you
are objective, Mr. So.
No, I'm coming. You have a day. Analysts are supposed to be objective in providing what they know, what they see, and make their good opinions, judgment. Whether people agree with that, but the analysts, today's analysts, everybody get their side, and so you can't.
It is obvious that any president, African leader, will want the speakership position. It is just obvious. So if you start doing your tabata in the horse,
is that yes to my question?
No, it's not a yes. It's not 100% yes. Every African leader wants to have the speaker in the house. So if the legislature start to do the crazy stuff, but look at the seditions. The sedition lawmakers say they don't want this. They don't want their own sedition, brother. Look at the position of CDC. I heard that Jefferson Kojija left the country. You see,
another confused institution.
CDC did not put up the result required to maintain the speakership. They did not fight for it. And JMB will take advantage if he have the opportunity to do that, because it is your people that is going against your own speaker. So I would not blame the president for that.
All right, there you go. Politicians are very calculative and protective of
I'm not a politician, Mr. So.
I'm just saying it, not necessarily you. Keto, you heard what your guys said. I think initially we had a very good conversation, but there's a divided role at the end of this program, which is very typical. Let's hear you.
This is the place where I invite Mr. To come in and say Terry put his foot in his mouth after having after having all the good conversation, and he shut it down his stroke. So this is it, right? Look, you can't have a cake and eat it, Terry. This president is not in control. I don't want to believe that this president in control. If the president was in control and you knew exactly what you're doing, you would not appoint somebody to the same place 2 or 3 times, call them back, and reappoint them again. He will not do that. He will not sit down in the last minute to make him to read something that he has no knowledge of, announce to the country about scholarship that is not real. He will not go and write the parliament about yellow machine. His friend offered him the yellow machine because the friend saw his agenda. The yellow machine that he has no idea, or you're not going to lie about that. He's not in control. People around this man is remotely controlling him. Just the way you saw the kid here from his nephew or the one that used to live in Arizona, in Liberia now. What his name? What the guy name? You know what I'm talking about, man? Lobo, George Lobo. You remember when President Bouaka was then running for campaign, he came here and they asking about social development and all that kind of thing, social corporate responsibility. Lobo said, just say this, and what he said, and it was a big controversial in America. That's how this old man is. You think, and don't forget again, his level of understanding has declined. His age. I'm not saying it in a demeaning form. That's just how it is. I don't think he's that sharp to read it and absorb everything that around him. So you got people who come and manipulate this old man to get what they want. Mamaka ability, the Cooper girl,
that is the real Tabata or propaganda from CDC chat room.
You know,
why you bring it to us here tonight?
All those people.
In your point, Keto.
Yeah, let me give it. So let me think. So
that is GDA propaganda. I've heard all the things before.
I wanted to make one correction here. We never had two eras to receive dignitaries in Liberia at the international airport. We had one large presidential VIP. Everything was right to that place. When President Weah became president, he said it was not befitting to have dignitary come through that era. So that was the only place we have for president to pass, foreign dignitary to pass. So he decided to build that place, the other place, the modern era, that when our dignitary come out, our ex-president, if we have one, that will come through, that's the place they will pass. So it's not that we have two, and one was for VIP and one for president. No, it was never like that.
So where the presidents used to pass before?
The place they call VIP, the VIP lodge, and what they refer to as VIP's lodge, everybody came, any president that can, whether for America, where they pass through that little place. One president.
But the Port Authority did clarify on that. You didn't listen to them?
No. There was nothing over there like the new one he built. It was one. And when he came, he said it was not decent because people were coming. We had dignitaries coming, so he decided to build that one. Once he built that one, they never broke the other one down. All right, so they just left that other one like that. And
so there's another one there, right?
The old one there and the new one he built. The old one, and he built a new one, and that old one was supposed to be, like taking apart or break down, whatever. But they kept it there, and the new one that he built, it was for presidents and dignitaries to pass. That old one was finished with. But anyway, the people around here again, because of the bad blood they got with this former president, so he didn't pass that. But I bet if Ellen Johnson Sirleaf would have traveled all of Liberia and wanted to use that so-called presidential lodge, it would have allowed her to use it. If President Weah had not tried the first time to come, if Ellen Johnson had done it, they were going to use it. It's only because of Weah. They want to demoralize his prestige. They want
that's presumption.
Yeah, seriously, that's what it did. That's what they did it for. So you can see it clear. That's what he said. It's a disrespect. It's a disrespect. You're going to bring a football player. You're passing through the presidential lodge to come to the country. But the former president of building, you can't pass there.
Because a presidential guest.
It's not, I don't think it should be that really built. It's an institution, though there are some institutions uniquely preserved. But that's the difficulties in telling people the truth. And like you rightfully said, it's not people sometimes, because sometimes the way you say it or people say
Right.
it, people feel hurt that it's condescending. But look, as you grow older, there are certain functionaries within your bodies declines. We saw that. Why you think Joe Biden, the sitting president, was pushed out just from a debate? So there's no way that 10 years ago of Joseph Boyka you can compare it with it today.
But
As
Mr.
you
So,
know,
JLB is not producing those tendencies that Joe Biden produces. JLB stands for more than 1 hour speaking intellectually to the audience. He reads very well. He propounds the issue.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming in. Your visual, what you see visibly. We saw what happened during the something. Now there are different things that are going to be connected. We might not know all of the medical condition, but I'm just saying, if you look at, there's no way a 50, 60-year-old person you can compare yourself to an 18-year in terms of stamina, multitasking, processing, paying attention. There are these little deficiencies. It might not be visible, but there are things that creep in. Not necessarily what happened, but with Biden. But the fact here, we must understand, age has caught up with me. He's doing great. Age has caught up with me. And the more you get aging, those things, there are some decline, things decline too as well. The slow down, it is what it is. Okay, so
so brother, so just something to end. I think for him to, like the question you asked, the president should have done it like yesterday to bring the country together. I think the people around him preventing him. Not everything the president can see. That's why he had eyes and ears all around him to be able to say, "Look, Mr. President, our country is divided. It's completely divided. Let's put this."
Terry cut that off already. Say, well, he's being assistant. He's something. So all of these things here. But let's see it. Prediction is not my favorite. I got liberal like to do a prediction. But yeah, we can. What are we waking up to see this coming Monday again? With the Supreme Court, do you think? I personally believe that's the end of it. This sort of bill of information right here. There's no way that the Supreme Court can retweet or restructure to what they have said, considering what is unfolding right now and what could be the ultimate potential end. Will this guy still be acting as a speaker, or I don't know what the hell is going on right now?
Well, I think Fanatic
how can it be fake? What would be the legacy now on the press on Joseph Boyka, where quote unquote, depending on who you talk to, still perceive one to be the speaker, even though his functionary is not he's not acting. So should he be concerned with that? Like, you know what, let go to hell. Who can run wrong? Who can stay? I don't think he's concerned. Doesn't matter. One minute before we go.
I don't think President Boyka is really concerned about his legacy, because he knows that he only wanted to serve one term. He will serve one term of age because of age, and he look at the eldest factor. If people are gonna consider him, they're gonna have pity on him when he retires. So he will do everything, and to get his way. At the end of the day, they can't do nothing. So I think that way it is. But that's a sad thing, because now people after him will have to pay for what he's doing. People after have to pay for.
I don't know who the people want to see where the
Unity Party aspirant will pay for what he's doing.
Terry, do you agree with him? Will Unity Party worried after the presidency of Joseph Boyka to what out the repercussions, the backlash, or what have you? Should they bother right now? Like, you know what? Let's just deal with what we've got before us. At the end of the day, when we get to the river, we'll see whether there's a ferry or a canoe, or we will perform miracle and walk over the water to cross. He would not be there again. Did we handle it? Correct?
So I do agree with Keto on that. And obviously, President Boyka is a sound man. He knows very well that there's a legacy to be made. And I believe he's going to foster. He have only one obligation, and that is to foster the agenda of the arrest, even though if you're not going to fulfill it. I do agree, though, that President Boyka cannot raise 8 billion. That is the arrest budget. The projection from Gafuan says that the arrest agenda is 8 billion to be able to accomplish everything you want to accomplish. I think, in my opinion, that projection is saying to the Liberian people that we will not be able to deliver the arrest agenda because who will get you $8 billion? The arrest agenda is $8 billion, right? But the budget, your recurrent expenditure alone is over 70% of the budget that you're raising, which is 800 million. 800 million every year. So if you calculate how much money you're using that will go to the remaining percentage that is going to go to infrastructural development or road networking, road development, and agricultural development, you will not be able to generate $8 billion out of that within a period of 5 years. So the projection from the arrest agenda is showing to us that they will not be, even if you say, okay, we're going to get money from outside the country, from other places, it still will not be able to meet that benchmark 8 billion. This means to say that maybe President Boga is thinking about running again, because the only way he can be able to accomplish the arrest agenda, he have to at least have 2 terms. And even within 2 terms, he will not be able to raise $8 billion because he don't have the budget to be able to raise that money. So what am I saying is that President
President what?
Man, when in slow motion, you're talking too much. Tabata.
but that's it.
No other Rick Perry or can't just
That catch up be making my internet to go up. But yeah, the thing here, Mr. So, right? He don't have that, you know. But the thing is that he can do one thing. He can reconcile the country. He can take us to what? He can take us to the World Economic Crimes Court. That would be a legacy. But he already said one legacy. Prince Johnson died in a region. That's a legacy already by itself. So,
what?
But what?
What's the actual meaning? What's the interpretation?
Because I don't want to go there. I don't want nobody can after me.
Wow.
The new barman in the show that one legacy we already said. But they're making.
Ali have to stabilize stabilize his government, right?
Yeah, so they can do anything. They can reconcile. They can open the roads. They can open the road. President Boga only need to open the road, face the road for the Liberian people, and that alone is a legacy. You know, open the roads. Try by all means to develop agriculture that will help the country to be able to start producing their own rice, at least their own rice. Focus your mind on 2 major things: road networking, and for the country to start producing rice. That's all you need to do. And that would be a great legacy that he will set. Thank you very much, Mr. So.
Guys, thank you so much for this.
Good show.
No, there seems to be like an interpretation with this whole bill of information. Again, people have different forms of interpretation. The bill of information, it has a multiple meanings. Maybe the Supreme Court will have, and it's a legal, when something that is a legal thing, right thing to do, then it's required. Maybe the Supreme Court will need to come tell her again what the applications involved in that. So it's just not it's not as easy as you think. It's a legal thing that require if you are not satisfied. So it's not anything that you can just shove down for people to give a different interpretation. Okay, guys.
But Mr. So the Supreme Court might likely not even respond to the bill of information.
No, that's what I'm saying. So they're going to look at the scope. They're going to look at the gravity of it. They're going to take the legal side, say like, you know what? We have done what we have done, but what I'm saying, the meanings are multiple. So it just not something you just look on the word and think this is why it is. No, we'll wait and see. But guys,
let's see what happens. Let's see what happens after that. Is he gonna? Are they going to go to election? Because his election, we want to see who will be playing now.
Okay, guys, have a pleasant weekend. Terry, thank you.
Good night, man. Good night, gentlemen.
You see how peaceful this whole thing here, Terry. Your papi not here tonight, Jerry not here, Libra not here, Sister not here. It was a very cordial friend.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, all right.
It was a wonderful show. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, man. Good night, gentlemen.
Okay,
nice show.
Bye. Okay, to our viewers, listeners, we say thank you for sharing your thoughts and your expertise with us, your tweets, your comments, your interactions, your engagement with peers, onliners, and even your agreement and disagreement with us. It's a valuable to learn lesson for us, and that help us to enhance our way of doing things and getting the information out. Until then, have a pleasant mornings, evenings, afternoon, depending on your location. Bye bye.